Hello everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. This one I'm going to do in real time. Again, I'm playing with my new collage papers from Natalie May Scrapbooking. I've designed them, Nats has produced them for me. They've all got names from the Hunger Games, which was Nat's idea. I'm rubbish at naming things, I'm so bad. So I did a live the other day on my channel, which you can find under the live tab. Again, using one of my collage papers, and I just thought I'd use this one because it's got quite an interesting background. So what I'm going to do is show you how easy it is using a water brush to cut the image out and have nice soft edges. So I'm just drawing on where I want to remove the image and gently tearing. I'm going to go all the way around. It hardly needs any effort at all to do this. It's so easy. I'm just going to go all the way around here, and I'm going to chop this white off at the bottom. So this paper is called Rue, I think. So you can see I've got that image now. I'm going to play in the large craft journal from Dina Wakley, and I think I'm going to pop her just on what I'm going to do a single page spread, I think. I want to use this writing that's on this other piece that I've cut out, so I'm just going to remove these other faces. So these collage sheets are great value because you get 5 images in total. It's really nice because then you've got even more to play with. So I'm just going to remove some of this excess off the edge. I'm going to use these on my page, so I'm not wasting any of this collage paper. I love putting text on my journal pages, so where did that other bit go? Oh, it's there. Right, geez, honestly. So I think I'm going to stick her straight in, and I'm thinking I might have her partly off the page. And I'm going to extend her shoulders out and give her a bit more going on. So I'm going in with some Dina Wakley gel medium, just ordinary gel medium is fine. These collage papers are so dreamy. Oh, this is ultra thick. Never mind, we'll use it now it's going on. Doesn't need ultra thick, but clearly can't read. So I'm going to put plenty on my page. These craft journals, as I've said many a time, they are quite thirsty. The substrate will kind of soak up a lot of your paint, whatever medium you're using on it. So a good thing to do is clear gesso your page first if you want to keep the craft colour on the background. Obviously, if you don't have clear gesso, gel medium will work just as well. Right, so I'm just going to go over and burnish that with my finger. You can see I'm going to be cutting that bit off there, so I'll just do that now. Easier said than done, apparently. I'm going to give this a little dry. Let's get some of that. So I haven't really got a plan for how I'm going to do this page. I'm winging it. I like winging it. I don't really like winging it, but sometimes that's what you've got to do. I don't want to waste any bits at all, so I'm going to stick these on my page. My paint water's a bit gloopy and grubby, but never mind. It all adds to the background, I guess. Look how that melts in, isn't it fab? Give it a good scrub. And then that way it will A, stick really well, and B, melt into your page nicely. Stick this bit here. I mean, it's funny that I've chopped that off and then I'm sticking it back near her face, but that's because I want it there. So I'll stick that bit on as well. Okay, right. So that's the start of my page. Giving that a quick dry. So I think what would be quite nice is to do one of my favourite techniques, and that is reductive stenciling or ghosting, depends what you want to call it. People call it different things. I'm just looking for my clear gesso. So because I'm going to do that, I'm now going to go in with some clear gesso. That's going to mean that I can add paint to the surface of my page and lift it off easily. So I'm not going to add anything down this part here because I want to add some sort of top for her there, some idea of shoulders so she's not floating. So at the minute she's just a discombobulated head, a disconnected head. I don't really want that. Give this a quick dry. I'm going to use Dina Wakley paints for this, and I'm going to use some of Nat's stencils as well. I want to find one that's got some fairly big holes in it to start off with. So lots of these stencils that you'll see in here I've designed for Nat for the classes that I've taught online for her this year. And of course a lot of them are ones that Nat herself has designed. So I'm just going to smudge the paint on with my finger and to grab a baby wipe, squeeze some of the excess liquid out of it, because if I don't do that it will just leak under, and then we'll pop that on and just lift some of the paint off. I love this technique. It's fab. Look at that, it's fabulous. So I'm not being particularly careful here. I am just smooshing the paint on. I'm going to create lots of layers doing this idea. This at the minute, I've got a couple of favourite techniques. One is like painterly marks, and this one, reductive stenciling. That's probably my other favourite. Right, I'm going to give that a dry before I go in with my next colour. I think my next colour is going to be tangerine. So I'm drying this layer so that none of this moves before I add another colour on. Okay, because I want to overlap this colour. Let's go with a bit more, that's not really enough. I'm going to find some of the smaller circles here. And again, lift it off through the stencil. Lovely. I'm just going to rub some of the paint off that side. So a damp cloth works just as well if you don't like using baby wipes. I generally only use baby wipes for this technique now. I don't really use them for anything else, I don't think. I'm trying to sort of cut down on my baby wipe usage. Just being a bit more environmentally conscious about what I'm putting in the bin. So give that a dry. I've got some orange on her hair, which I don't really want there. Can I get it off? Yes, I can. Cool. I think the other thing I would say is, like, don't be afraid to, you make a mistake or something you don't like. I suppose there aren't mistakes, other they're just like bad decisions, accidents. Just go in with your damp cloth or baby wipe and lift it off. It's not a big deal. It doesn't need to be a disaster. Oh, I'm really liking how this is coming together. So now I haven't got a lot of room. Do you know what? I think I'm going to come over onto this page and just leave some white space. It's really grey here today, and I feel the need for some lovely rainbow brights. I mean, not that I ever need an excuse for using bright colours. They are my absolute favourite. But, you know, it's grey. It's very cloudy. Let's pop a bit over here. And then I'm going to break my rule of threes, and I'm going to add another bit down there. And the reason I'm doing that is because my brain is going, there's no green over here. It's not very balanced. So I'm just using the same stencil to start off with. I'm going to introduce another stencil in a minute. So that was lime. Turquoise. Okay, let's put a bit of this here, and you'll notice that, like, this turquoise really pops, doesn't it? So that's because I've put it near the orange and the red, and it's almost, well, it's a complement to the orangey colour. So that's going to mean that it'll pop. So you can see the difference in the way the paint's lifting. Where I've added the clear gesso, it is just coming straight off really easily, and where I haven't, it is soaking in. It's quite tricky to get off the page. I might just put a little smudge of blue down there. A little bit up here too. Okay. Right. Now we need my usual juggling tricks. So this is, I can never remember, Iris. I always want to call it Heather. Lilac. I don't know. Just make it up as I go along. Do the same thing. So once I've got, I'm going to get a clean baby wipe because that one is starting to turn a bit muddy. I'm going to go with a bit of purple down here. I can start overlapping my stencil colours now. A little bit here. You see, that won't lift off there at all. There's nothing prepping that background, but there is there. Right, and then we just want to go in with a little pop of pink. So I'm just going to dry that. I want to come up here with that. if I go in pretty quickly where I haven't prepped the page, it will lift off maybe a little bit easier. I love the difference in marks that you get doing this technique, because you're not like disappearing the whole stencil, so you're just getting an idea of pattern. And what we can do over here is add some splatters. I will pop a bit of clear gesso over there. Now I've decided I am in fact doing a double page spread and not a single page one. She's going to need some sort of shoulder situation going on over there, just to connect her to the page. Right, so let me put that stencil away. So nat stencils are the perfect size for fitting into these little folders. I just found these on Amazon. It's an A5. I can't find where that came from. I want something with a smaller pattern. How about this one? Let's use Nat's cool marks. Right. I am going to use up paint that I've got left over. So I've got little blobs left over on my palette. I'm just going to come in and use some of these, maybe with this dotty. And I'm just going to overlap stenciling onto the other colours. So I'm not introducing any new colours. I'm just using up kind of what I've got left, really. So that was red. Let's pop a few red dots over here. And I want to kind of extend it out now. Next I'll go with the orange, and I might just add different, I'm going to add different patterns as I go forward. Yeah, I'm liking this. Right, yellow. Let's not use those dots anymore. Let's go on to a different one. Let's use these stripes, dashes. So I'm just going to carry on adding some marks to this page using the different marks that are on the stencil and overlapping my colours as well. I had to pause filming, so while I paused I have put some clear gesso on this side of the page as well. This is a great way to use up the excess paint and create a really fun background as well. Okay. And then my last colour is going in with a bit of the lilac, and I'll just put some dots. I think just to finish off. So really all I'm doing now is just looking for where there are any spaces, not many, and just going in with a few more marks. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. I think I'm going to stop there. Let me just move those stencils out of the way. Now she needs some sort of body situation. I think I'm going to go with night. And I think when you're doing something like this, you've just got to go for it. So, you know, I can give her a funky collar just to try and jazz this up a bit. And I'm just going to kind of go out as far as I feel is about right. Doesn't have to be perfect. That is good enough. So now she's no longer floating. I will give that a quick dry. And then I think it'd be nice to kind of put a bit of some sort of collar on there. So might grab the same brush. Let's give it a quick try. And I think I've got some of that iris left. I'm just going for it, just finishing off the bits of paint that are left. I quite like that. So I think we need some stamping, a bit of white. I think some white splatters would be nice. Use some of Nat's stamps as well to honestly literally just dropped my heat tool on the floor and it's decided it's going to switch itself on. Fantastic. It's just what we need, isn't it? Sorry. Right, okay. I think I'm just going to grab a fan brush. I just want to water this down a little bit. And if I put my board over her face, I can try and protect that from over exuberant splattering. Oh, I do love a good splatter. In an arty context, of course. Okay, so I grab these stamps from Nat. I've already got a kind of scripty writing in the background, so I'm going to use this one. This is from one of the new stamp sets. There's a fabulous text one. And I just like to use parts of a stamp on my pages, so I'm just going to go in and stamp bits of it. So it's quite sticky on the back of it, so you can kind of stick it to your fingers almost. Now, I'm stamping upside down, but I'm not bothered because what I want is the idea of text. I don't really want to be able to read it, so that doesn't bother me at all. I love some of these little tiny dots. Look at these tiny dots. I'll just find how cool are they? So you can kind of add more interest to your page. Stamps are a great way to do that. that was a black archival ink that I was just using. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a white pen. Something that I often like to do as well is just to do a bit of doodling on my page. So I'm just going to go in and pick out some of these shapes that I stenciled on. This just pulls them out from the background a little bit, and it's just another way of adding more interest to your page. Okay, I like that. It's looking good. Okay, so now for a quote. When I see quotes I like, I often screenshot them or write them down. Then, of course, I can never find... This is a fabulous quote. Right, it says, remember that the opposite of depression is not joy, it's expression. So create, 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 for it's the soul's medicine. I'm going to write that because, boy, is that true. It really is. In no way am I saying that, you know, all depression can be treated with creating. I'm absolutely not saying that. It can be a tool in a toolbox of things that you use to help yourself through difficult times. I don't know whether I want that on her eyes or not, do I? No, don't think I do. I'm just going to get a baby wipe. So because I've sealed this image, I should be able to just go in and wipe that away. Yeah, there we go. Don't be afraid to just try things out. You just never know whether you might kind of hit on something that you're like, oh my gosh, I've never done that before. That works really well. That's how you discover new techniques. Right, I must get this right. So So one thing I try to do when I'm writing quotes is deliberately make my letters go in different directions. Then that way, if one does accidentally go in a funny direction, it doesn't matter because that's the vibe that's happening. So I don't try to keep them all neat, the same height, the same level. And then that way you can get away with slightly crazy. I really like that quote. I think it's fab. So what I'm feeling this page needs now is a bit of a border. So I'm going to grab a chisel shaped Posca pen. It's quite chunky. And I'm feeling I've got this dark area here and I've got this dark writing, and what I'm going to do is just put a border a little bit of the way in from the edge. I'm using the width of the pen, and that almost contains that page. Can't kind of help you understand why I felt I needed to do that, but well, yeah, that works for me. Lots of people often say about writing in their journals, on their journal pages, that it scares them. The same thing goes for drawing faces, anything like that you want to get better at. The only way to get better is to practice and be prepared that you're going to have some bumps along the road, and just be prepared to accept those. The more you practice, the easier it gets. And the more you will become used to seeing your writing there, and the more you will grow to love putting your own writing on your page. Okay. Right, I am actually going to leave that there. I'm going to call that done. So there we go. That's a fun journal page created using one of my new collage papers from Wakley Scrapbooking. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll put some stills of this page on at the end for you to have a look at up close if you want to. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.